Songbook prison, doesn't it?
No, they're just one letter off for some reason.
Yeah. Now we're live. Now we're live. Tune in next week, folks. All new show.
Hi, Glenn. Hey, what's up, David? We need a leader.
Got room for one more up there?
I think so.
All right. This sounds familiar.
Something Glenn and I just came up. You're oozing with words. What do you think?
It's the Gitty Gang Show on Cigar Nation TV. It's the Gitty Gang Show on Cigar Nation TV. And we're coming to you live from CB Gitty. All right, David, play that bass now. Come on.
I like the buzz.
Well, we come to you live every Friday afternoon at 2.
Friday at 2.
Most Fridays, yeah, we come to you live every Friday afternoon at 2.
Friday at 2.
And if we don't see you, we don't know what we'll do. One finger.
It's a fine figure, my friend.
But it's the Gitty Gang Show. 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 It's the Gitty Gang Show on Cigar Box Nation TV. Well, welcome. David Comtois, everyone, on the newly reborn, refurbished, renovated, and renaissanced upright washtub bass.
Wicked Boomer.
Wicked Boomer.
Wicked guy.
Speaking of wicked boomers, there's a nor'easter
Yeah.
coming right down through here right now.
Yeah.
It's a man. He drove up here from the beautiful state of
Yes.
Massachusetts
Yes.
through said nor'easter. Now, I have to confess something, folks. Our preparation for the show today pretty much consisted of jamming for the last hour and a half. So, and not a lot of looking at the script. So, we're going to do our best today. We got a lot of information to share, a lot of good words to say. Do we have a walk corner today?
I think we got some
We
good
got a
words.
walk corner in the good word department. All right, so first I want to start with the giveaway that we're doing. David, if you can grab that little giddy right back there. Now that's tuned Chicago tenor, DGBE, and we're giving it away. This is the third and final week. All you got to do to be entered to win this guitar, the cease and desist edition of the fine guitar here, is share this broadcast, share this video publicly here on Facebook. When you click share, there's a little drop down, you choose public from that, otherwise we can't see that you've shared it, and you will be entered. We're going to be announcing the winner of this guitar next week during what I'm hoping will be the St. Patrick's Day edition of the Gitty Gang Show. It being February 16th next Friday, with the High Holy Day itself being on the 17th, the Saturday. And I just got to tell you, having been in an Irish band and involved in the Irish community here in New Hampshire, when St. Patrick's Day falls on a Saturday, all hell breaks loose. All the part-time Irish come out.
Yes.
Deedly-deedly-doo. Yes. All right, so all sorts of good stuff going on. A couple of the things you can see here on the stage we're going to be talking more about as we get into the show. The Coke Crate guitar that Mr. Glenn Watt here is so nimbly playing. I finished up, well, it's still not quite done. Like most creations, most projects, it's never truly finished. It's just kind of
work in progress,
abandoned at some point where it's close enough. So the Coke Crate guitar, the revamped Washtub bass here, all sorts of good stuff going on in the homemade instrument building world, and here at CB Gitty, trying to push a little bit beyond your standard 3-stringer. Of course, we love the 3-string cigar box guitar. That's a modified version of which I'm playing here, but trying to push beyond that. This is 6 strings. This Coke Crate guitar is a 6-string nylon strung guitar tuned to the standard guitar tuning of E, A, D, G, B, E.
Very good. Bravo, sir.
David's a guitar teacher, so I gotta be on my best.
Everything's a quiz with me. Everything's a quiz.
There will be a quiz
Yes.
later, folks. So yeah, all sorts of good stuff, kind of pushing beyond some of the normal boundaries, trying to try out some new things. Speaking of pushing beyond boundaries, David, why don't you squeeze in a little
push
closer
into the
here.
boundary?
You're half cut off.
Hi. Yeah, but well, yeah,
Here he
I
is
think,
now. So we got a few different songs to talk to you about today. Like to say hello. We're trying to keep an eye on some comments here. Brian Lehman out there, Matthew Simpson, Chris McKinney, Ken Nolan, Michael Capato, liking the Coke Crate Gitty, Barbara Antinoro.
that actually is the mother of one of my best friends.
Ah, very nice.
Hi, Barbara.
With David. Is David the name of your friend?
Tony is the name of my friend.
Oh, all right. Sorry.
I'm David. So he's
You're David.
I'm David.
Hello, David, comma, from the,
That's
the Oxford,
what it is. English. So
the Oxford comma, folks.
we're musicians. We don't really get English.
So,
Yeah. So hello, David. Yes. Hello. This is A. Nice to see you.
yes, David says hello. This is A. All right, so we got a few. I say worked out, but we've got a few songs to try for you today. Some news to share. Some words from Glenn. A nice video that Nick has put together of the assembly of that. You'll be seeing that. One of the numbers we've done is a blues jam. That David's going to be playing this lovely little 3-string solid body electric guitar tuned to open G. It's a Carver Banjos kit that we just got in. Oh, was it 2 days ago, Nick? A couple of days ago we got those in. Very
cool.
excited about it. It's another way to kind of branch out a little bit, like we were talking,
Yeah.
David. Pushing that envelope, trying some new things, outside the box, we might say. All right. So let's get started talking a little bit about first what we did for the bass. Nick, did you get those photos I had uploaded? I'm gonna just take this off here.
Yeah.
Glenn, if you want, while I mash about, keep an eye on some commentios there. So, if you remember the Washtub bass, pick it up a little bit here without hitting the ceiling. It is an actual Washtub. It's mounted on a preschool or kindergarten chair as the stand. It weighs a metric crap ton.
Yeah.
Which is why it needs the chair as a stand. And I realized I hot glued the handles on the side of the
nice.
Washtub down so they wouldn't rattle. But those were actually handy for carrying this thing. I remembered after gluing them down.
You can handle.
Yeah, boy, we could mount some more metal on there. It'd be great. But basically, the reason it was Glenn's idea to kind of revisit this bass, which has been around the Gitty shop here for couple of years now. Nick has a picture of it opened up there. A lot of people have asked on the times we've shown it, how is it braced in there? How is the neck attached? How does it all work? And you can see right there in that photo, that big kind of crescent moon piece is a solid slab of 1 3/4 oak. that I cut to fit into this wash tub. It's bolted in on the sides with lag bolts. It's a solid, heavy chunk of oak. And that forms the backbone that the neck is attached to. As you can see, the neck does not go all the way through. It mounts to this big slab of oak. So that answers one of the most persistent questions that have been asked over the years about this base. And you can also see in there that the rest of the base is pretty much empty. Oh, caught me picking my ear.
Sorry.
The rest of the base is open, is hollow, and that's where the sound volume comes from.
I thought it was going to go to the next picture, and I failed.
Now, the first soundboard that was on here was a piece of 3/8 inch, very cheap, crappy plywood that had been one of the panels on a packing crate. Might have been the packing crate the laser, CNC laser came in. It had voids in there, the glue was letting go, it was splintering. It was really one of the worst pieces of Chinese plywood you could ever want to get your hands on, and it made sound, it resonated a bit, but I decided to replace it with this, which is a piece of 3/16 inch thick yellow birch veneer core plywood, which is really under a lot of stress from that bridge, from the tension of these strings. She's kind of curved in, but I wanted it to be under tension. I wanted it to be under stress, because it's when wood is really right near its maximum breaking point, that's when you get the maximum acoustic volume out of it.
So if you see me run, it's going to...
If it starts cracking,
I'm out of here.
We ought to vacate, because before I put the cover on, as you can see, it says danger explosives. Well, I packed it full of nitroglycerin.
Oh, great.
Just in time, of course.
Nice.
That's why it's so heavy.
Honey, I hope our insurance is paid up.
Hey, just add a rider, just real quick.
Yeah.
So yeah, very happy with that. Also installed some electronics. Glenn, you soldered up a nice little harness. Can you tell us about what was on that?
Sure. To get to be specific about it, it's two 500K pots. Wired to two 12mm piezo disc piezos.
Yeah.
And there's a
second 12s? 20s.
20s.
Yeah,
Excuse me, 20s. 20mm piezos. And then there's also a tone pot in there that has a capacitor.
Yeah.
I almost said capacitator, which is my jam.
Capacitation.
But hey, so there's a capacitor wired into the harness to take off some of the high end and some of that scratchy sound that you might get with a wash tub, and nonetheless, to crank up the tone pot takes down that high end.
It does. Dual piezos.
Do you remember where you put them?
Well, pretty much under each leg of the bridge there, in that general vicinity. Wired in parallel, and then into the volume, and then the tone. It was a .033 microfarad capacitor that Glenn put on that tone pot, and we have found, I was thinking, we'd only put it part way up, just to take off some of the quack that piezos tend to have. We found that having it all the way up, having that capacitor fully engaged, it means you got to crank the volume on your amp a little more, but it really just gives you that pure, rich bass sound without string noise, without a lot of rumbling.
Yeah. There's nothing going on here.
Yeah, but when you hit one, it comes through. So having that capacitor, I wouldn't go any higher on the capacitor, because you really got to kind of crank that amp to get anything out of it. But so yeah, the newly electrified, because it wasn't electrified before. And just as the thing that started the whole revamp the bass discussion was Glenn had started playing it more recently, and as David knows, the strings that were on it were actually braided stainless steel cable meant to tow airplanes or something.
From a ski, the cable and the ski things, folks. That is like three. Yeah.
And just a larger gauge. Right?
I've left DNA. I've got DNA here.
Slides on it. It became painful quickly. It was a very exfoliating experience.
Yes. My hands are beautiful.
Well, we put some actual upright bass strings on there, flat wound Diodarios. The set of 4 was like $70. Those things ain't cheap.
It hurts to be a bass player.
But it's like silk. They're just beautiful. So it's now a stage ready, I hope.
And what's nice is that there are a lot of bass players that like a dead thud. So as this thing breaks in, it's going to get deader and deader. It's going to sound better and better because they're deader and deader.
Like my eyes.
Hey.
Sorry, what?
What's the scale like?
Well, thank you for asking, our Nick. I actually did a little bit of brief research. I think Glenn typed in the search query on Wikipedia about upright basses while we were revamping it. I did no research whatsoever about upright basses while originally building it. Usually the longest scale length of a conventional upright bass is around 43 inches. This baby is 48. So we had to do a little testing to see which strings would get up to GD on it, and that's all part of not following. There was no instruction booklet followed on this thing.
Yeah.
So let's try it and see if it works. So that's the upright bass, homemade, handmade instrument number 1 being featured this week, and number 2.
It's a thing of beauty, I got to tell you.
Glenn has. We'll take the anybody you want to.
There's a lot of people out there.
A lot of people.
Let's just.
So quickly. Oh, I guess here. Will you take this back?
Oh. All right.
I like how we have the old and the new and the old, and everything just gets all meshed in.
It does. So this was. Don't break it. This is made from an actual old Coke crate that I think Farley found somewhere. This had been under Farley's bench for a couple of years. She had put this. Huh?
Nothing.
She had put this barnwood top on it and reinforced it inside, and then it got stuck under the bench. Recently, while reorganizing the shop, she pulled it out and put it on my bench. Said, "Here, see if you can do something with it." And on a whim, a couple of weeks ago, I decided to cut some filler pieces for the carrying handles in the crate. Made a neck out of an old piece of wood I reclaimed from a quarry in Ohio, and 6 nylon strings. I wanted to build a 6-stringer that was stage ready, that was, oh, there we go. And I got a nice preamp in there. So it can be played by pretty much any 6-string guitar player, and that's good because sometimes, I love 3 strings, I love open G, G, D, G, but sometimes they need a little oomph behind them to fill out the sound, and that's where having
Sonic variation.
Sonic variation, folks.
Just came to me.
You heard it here. I'm not really much of a 6-string player. All I can kind of do is thump around on the chords, but turns out this guy earlier was sitting out there playing Blackbird.
Yeah.
One of the most beautiful songs ever written, in my opinion. Hey, that could be a filler. Me and Glenn could go have a cup of coffee, and you could sit here and play Blackbird.
So it's now going to be turning into the Gitty Dave Show. Hi, I'm your host Dave. These are my sidekicks, Glenn and Ben.
So yeah, this I didn't take a lot of photos of the inside of this guitar. Someone asked, did you make a video? Did you video you building it? No, didn't do that. Because sometimes I like to just go to the bench without a camera within 100 feet and just have some fun. And this is from that. Now, I'm so happy with how it came out. No truss rod in this neck, and really, no significant bracing in the box. These old Coke crates are pretty sturdy. The beautiful thing about nylon strings is you don't need a lot of bracing. You don't need, because they don't have that high tension. But they do have that wonderful, that warm, rich, warm sound.
Yeah, it's like Spanish guitar.
Yeah, like flamenco.
Yeah.
Which I can't do. So, what we got going on out there, Glenn?
Well, here we go.
Oh, you want me to? Sure. I've been doing a lot of talking already. I'm trying to share the talkitude. Oh, speaking of talkitude, today is Ron Benway's birthday. We've got his.
I think we've moved it out.
Oh, it's moved out. And Ron, if you're friends with Ron on Facebook, he would love nothing more than for you to go on his page and leave him a happy birthday message.
Happy birthday.
Actually, he's been posting, asking people not to do that. So we like to encourage people to do it
It's
because
very
we love our
unbirthday.
Ron Benway.
It's his own birthday.
So everyone, thank you for tuning in again. Share this broadcast. Most of you know, but newcomers wouldn't. If you share this broadcast here on Facebook publicly, you'll be entered to win this lovely old number 7 whiskey tin guitar that we are giving away, not selling. I'm going to make that clear. We are not selling this. We are giving it away to a person who will be chosen from amongst all of the people who shared this week's show, last week's show, and the week before that. This is a 3-week-long giveaway. And that's not even plugged in, folks. That's acoustic. Yeah, buddy. He's in the key of what, E?
Yeah. A. E. B. E. Okay, say E. No dots, Ben.
We don't need no. There we go. Bring it together at the end. So yeah, we're giving that guitar away there, and it's going to be a good thing.
If Dave doesn't take it home with him.
Yeah. So we got all sorts of people out there. I'm trying to keep an eye on any questions that are asked. If you have questions, ask them, and we can virtually guarantee that we might not ignore them.
All right, so if I may,
Yeah,
there we go. Awesome, thank you. So, I think there was a scale length question on this.
On that,
Scale length
25.
25.
I
all
wanted
right.
to do 23. You know why I didn't? Because if I had done 23-inch scale on this thing, the bridge, the bridge would have been too far forward. So, and plus, conventional guitar players are used to the 25-inch scale range. So,
Plus the decal is beautiful. I mean, you can't,
well, this
you know.
this is the design of an actual postage stamp. Try to get it. Honoring Casey Jones, the engineer who was killed trying to save his train back in the early 1900s. There have been a number of songs written about him. Most people immediately think of the Grateful Dead, Casey Jones driving that train high on cocaine. That song has very little to do with the actual Casey Jones beyond the name. There were other older songs about the actual event. Well, they released this postage stamp in the 1950s. It's a 3-cent stamp. I found the image of it and did an ink transfer print onto what had been a bare piece of barnwood that I sanded down. Got it just about as thin as I could. It's a little under 3/16 of an inch, and that was all by hand sanding, or a sander held in my hand.
That
That's
works.
not hand
That
powered.
works.
Yeah, so any other?
Yeah.
All right, well, if you have more questions, folks, this is the time to ask them.
There were a couple about nylon strings and if we're going to keep them, gauges, etc.
I don't know a lot about nylon strings and their gauges. I get 6-string nylon guitar, like classical guitar sets, from a non-Gitty string provider.
I would say that's probably a 10 set, either 10 or 12 set.
Yeah, I thought that's what I was
Yeah.
going to say. I didn't want to be, you know,
I can't
I didn't want to show off.
Well, I can't because I'm not going to be here next week, so I can say whatever I want.
But pretty much any 6-string
Yeah.
classical guitar set you can get from a music shop at 25-inch scale should work.
Yeah.
And they're easier on the fingers. You know, I'm putting nylon strings on all the Gitty Lele's, putting them on this. I'm becoming a big fan of the nylon. All right. Well, what we've got up next is, you want to jump into?
Sure.
Should we do a song before Walk Corner?
Sure.
You want to do the Folsom Prison?
Sure.
And then after Walk Corner, we're going to have a brief a preview for St. Patrick's Day. We're going to get Kim Starling in here to help me sing I'll Tell Me Ma,
Nice.
good old Irish tune. What do we do?
I don't
No,
know.
David's playing this. You're playing that.
It's called the Gitty Shuffle
All right.
The Gitty Shuffle.
on Cigar Box Nation TV.
All right.
Nice. Thank you,
You
Ben.
take that. I'll take this. You got that. And this is, of course, Johnny Cash's hit, Folsom Prison. We're going to try it here as the Gitty Trio. I hear the train a-comin', it's rollin' round the bend. I ain't seen the sunshine since I don't know when. I'm stuck in Folsom Prison. boats are rolling on down to San Antonio. When I was just a baby, my mama told me, son, always be a good boy, don't you ever play with guns. I shot a man in Reno just to watch him die. When I hear the whistle blowing, I hang my head and cry. Come on, man. Fancy dining car, probably drinking coffee and smoking big cigars. Well, I know they had it coming, I know I can't be free, but those people keep on moving, and that's what tortures me. Thank you. I can hear the clap. Glenn, you ready?
Sure, man. Mind if I grab that
Well,
pad over there, David?
What
Actually,
corner?
don't
Hold on, I think we got a theme.
Yeah, if I can grab that from you.
Oh,
And if I grab that pad too, that
Oh,
you see
certainly,
right there, that
yes.
electronic device.
What if I just move? Would that be easier?
No, I'm going off. I'm going off
dude.
screen. Oh, you want?
I
All
don't
right,
mind, just
all
because I
right.
think it's been unfortunate that we haven't really gotten to as many people as we usually do. So Jason Gleason, it's good to see you from you, Jittery J. By the way, those necks, I wish I had them with me right now.
Hey, I'll go get them.
Thank you very much for those necks, Jittery J. Jason Gleason, awesome stuff. You'll see here in just a minute.
Can I help you?
That's all right, thank you. I do want to say hi to Clay Clark and Neil Cotter, Damon Park, all you people, man. Marty, thank you very much. I know that we got those Wicked Buckers come back in. It'd be great to have again. Omar, it's good to see you. Jennifer Warren White, awesome. She absolutely loves that Coke crate guitar. Sean Ravenscraft, go Eagles. Phil By, good to see you. I just got a couple more because I've been Michael Capato, Diane. I love seeing women out there. Thank you very much for being here. And Kim Starling. Rick Flank, thank you very much, by the way, for sharing it to every single group possible. That's awesome. I imagine this comment is made in good jest, but I don't believe that piezo cigar box guitars with our equalizers are fart boxes, but I guess we're all entitled. Rusty Taylor, it's good to see you. Brad, the whole 9 yards. Brett Gaskill. Yeah, that's Shane.
Yeah, that
Thanks,
sounded like
King.
Shane's spiel.
All right, now, so we have for White Corner. I basically, let's silliness aside, it's an opportunity. Oh, thank you very much. Thank you very much, David and Ben. These are from Jittery J, Jason Gleason. Two necks he sent up. His son, who's going to school in our lovely state of New Hampshire, stopped David, take some photographs, and Ben was kind enough to let his son, Jason's son, walk around. We took some photographs. He got to see what we do here, and ask some questions, meet some people, and in return, Jason sent up these two beautiful Spectraply. I'm using a name brand. I actually don't know the it's like Kleenex. It's facial tissues. I don't know, but it's colorful wood. But they're gorgeous necks. And I just want to say thank you very much, Jason. Cannot wait to put these to good use. They are beautiful. I don't know. I know it's a distance. You have to take my word for it if you can't see that far away. But to get to the perp. Thank you very much, David. Y'all send in a lot of photographs and submit them to our website, and all of them are amazing. I love reading the captions that people send in with those photographs as well. But I can only pick a few for this particular segment of the show, and basically this Nick is kind enough to have these all lined up He's trying to work with me in posting them as I talk. So if we may now, Nick.
Starting with Rob, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
thank you.
All right.
And I got to start with Rob Roble, because the guy's just a sick builder. And I don't know if you're out there today, Rob, but I just want to say amazing stuff. And Nick, you can feel free to click them as you feel is necessary. Because I just want to go through the punch list and what Rob shared with us. He's got a hickory neck on this thing with a walnut fretboard, maple fret markers and white side dots, a 0 fret and bone nut. So that bone nut that you'll see when we get to that photograph is kind of like a string retainer to keep those strings in place over the 0 fret. He's got a 3-wood headstock and heel. Just look at that. That is amazing stuff, Rob. I got to admit, it's impressive.
I really love that he uses that speaker grill behind the cutout on the side.
Did I blow right by that? My bad.
Well, no, that's fine. I was looking at it like there. That cutout with the speaker grill in the back. It's amazing.
Great sound hole on the side there to kind of, to satisfy the player as well. He's got a walnut control plate and tailpiece. You can see the chrome roller bridge he's got on there that we saw. It was awesome stuff. Chrome knobs and strap buttons, and then capped with those really cool gold trunk corners that we got. I just got to say, Rob, it's always a pleasure to share and to be a part of the work that you do. So thank you very much. Next thing that Nick's got lined up is a guitar from Troy. And Troy, who's saying that this is his first build, which I think is really impressive. He decided to go, instead of using a cigar box, he's using a finger jointed box kit that we sell here. So we cut them out on laser cutters, ship them flat to you. This is the box. They're huge, much bigger. They're almost that a little bit, about 3/4 the size of that coat crate guitar. This is what he made out of it. It's amazing stuff. I got to admit, I'm really impressed, especially for a first guitar. Got the tuning pegs and all the other jazz from us. So thank you very much, Troy. I think that's good stuff that you should see. And after this one, we have William H. And William said that his wife gave him a 4-string cigar box guitar for Christmas, and he thought it'd be fun, however, to build his own. So instead of using a cigar box, he used a lunch box, which he found a 1959 Fender Bassman lunchbox. And as you can see behind that, the guitar that he built, he also, William H., builds vacuum tube guitar amps, which is impressive stuff. And one of the amps that he has built is a 1959 Bassman amp clone, which he posed behind the lunchbox guitar that you can see there. He used, and it's a little kind of plugging ourselves here, but he used one of our pre-made necks. It's a 25-inch scale 3-string cigar box guitar neck from us, and I think he did a damn good job with that stuff. So good stuff, William. And the last thing that Nick has lined up for us, which is really good stuff, is Michael Capato.
Cool.
Yeah, our Michigan man.
Very cool.
Michael, this is his 3-string electric cigar box guitar with vintage automotive theme. And now, Nick, please feel free to click them as you wish. The graphics on the neck are all vintage auto advertisements that he downloaded, got offline, print them out on paper, and with a regular old inkjet printer that we all got at home, not all of us, but hey, a lot of us have. He printed it out on standard printer paper, and this is what he did. I want to, read the entire bloggy type post, but it just give you the punch list so you have an idea that you can do this at home too. He sprayed the graphics with clear coat and then cut them in using Mod Podge. He decoupaged them on the neck before fretting it. Then he finished that with a clear gloss finish and then painted the box black, sprayed. This is what I love. He took some red spray paint, and from behind a fan, he sprayed the red spray paint into the fan to let it kind of just blow lightly over the box to give it like a red tinge. And then as you can see here, what Nick's got up on the screen is that he's got 2 wrenches stacked on top of each other for the bridge. Clicking through even to another image, you can see a tire gauge is serving as the tailpiece. It's a working tire gauge for that matter. And he's got like a little screw, thumb screw for the nut up on top. The whole thing is really a piece of art, Michael, and you should be proud of that stuff. It's really fun to see. He's got a socket there on the volume knob. And all things told, this is just another fine representation of what it is that you folk are doing and then submitting it to us, because it's a lovely thing to share. I'm great to have such a nice community, a thoughtful community that's willing to be as open as they are with what they build, and it's just a pleasure to be a part of. So that has been
What do you do when you got stuff to say? What corner? Sorry.
All right, I'm out of your way.
Did you notice Watt is in the corner on Watt Corner?
All
All
right.
right, here all day, folks.
Now we're making room on stage
Oh, yes.
No, you're fine.
for our own Kim Starling
Hello.
for just a wee drama of the Irish.
Yes, by the way, St. Patrick's Day is in March.
What'd I say, February?
You did.
I don't know
And
what's
Glenn Watt
happening.
went, February 16th.
February 16th and 17th.
It's not June yet?
Not St.
What day
Patrick's
is it today?
It's all part of the show.
Oh, sure.
Tune in next week. All new
You
material.
people know when St. Patrick's Day is.
All right, this is I'll Tell Me Ma. As a friend of ours likes to tell the story, an old Belfast skipping song,
True.
a children's game song from the northern Irish city of Belfast. I'm finding it. There it is. Ma, when I go home, the boys won't leave the girls alone. My hair stole my comb, but that's alright till I go home. She is handsome, she is pretty, she's the belle of Belfast City. She's a cartoon 1, 2, 3. Please won't you tell me who is she? Albert Mooney says he loves her. All the boys are fighting for her. Knock on the door and ring the bell. Oh, my true love, are you well? There she goes, as white as snow. Rings on her fingers, bells on her toes. Oh, Jenny Mary says she'll die if she doesn't get the fellow with the roving knife. Tell me, Ma, when I go home, the boys won't leave the girls alone. My hair and stole my comb, but that's alright till I go home. She is handsome, she is pretty, she's the belle of Belfast City. She is a cartoon 1, 2, 3. Please won't you tell me who is she? Then the rain and the hail go high and snow come tumbling from the sky. She's as nice as an apple pie and she'll get her own life by and by. When she gets a lad of her own, don't tell her ma when she comes home. Let the boys stay as they will, for it's Albert Mooney she loves still. Tell my ma when I go home, the boys won't leave the girls alone. Pulled my hair and stole my comb, but that's alright till I go home. She is handsome, she is pretty, she's the belle of Belfast City. She's a cartoon 1, 2, 3. Please won't you tell me who is she? Hey, a little bit of the Irish.
It's hard to sing without my drums.
Lovely, Kim.
Oh, thank
Lovely.
you.
All right, well, thank you. Actually, I'm going to be joining my former
Oh.
band, Bradigan, of which Kim is a member, founding member. I'm not a founding member.
No.
Anyway, later this evening, joining them for a rehearsal in preparation for
Blowing the dust off at
Not
St. Patrick's
the-
Day,
St.
March
Patrick's Day.
17th.
March
March
17th, folks.
16th,
They
yeah.
have not moved it forward a month.
We need scheduling.
It's just numbers and letters
That's right.
and things. I mean,
Yeah, sure.
we got one tuner for all three of us here today.
Oh, so the the faucet was repurposed from the bass.
Yeah, that was the tailpiece on the bass. And for the last show that we did using this, it was just about pulled out. They had 3 drywall screws holding it to that crappy plywood that we had as the soundboard. And it wasn't held on by much, folks. Hope and a prayer, living on a prayer. There's a song in
There
there.
is a song.
It'll never
Maybe
work.
Yeah. Maybe someday.
Couple of short announcements just released, newly available as of yesterday on Amazon. Right now you can only get it through Amazon Prime. Oh, zoom in. Is the new Cigar Box Guitars Songbook. This thing has 45 songs in it, some of which have 2 or 3 different arrangements of them. All laid out in tablature for 3-string open G cigar box guitars. Got the chords, the chord forms, the verses and lyrics, additional verses, all sorts of good stuff. Available through Amazon, professionally printed and published. Very excited about it. This is a one I put together here, which is why it has staples and looks kind of crappy. But the fancy one is going to be in the same style as our Canjo hymnal, which is published through the same outfit. Comes out pretty well, I think. So excited about that, because one of my goals, one of your goals, one of our goals is to get you playing your cigar box guitars, not just building them and talking about them, but playing them, and having these kinds of songbooks available certainly makes it a lot easier. I hope
Oh yeah, there's nothing more satisfying than hanging out with your friends and playing music. You know, I mean, yeah.
Jam sessions,
yeah.
you know, around the campfire, on the front porch or the back porch, wherever 2 or 3 are gathered together.
In the middle of an Easter?
No, Easter.
An
Yes,
Easter.
here we are.
This ain't nothing.
At least it's not snow.
True. Yes, very
Bite
lucky.
your tongue.
Oh, the terrible wind and rain.
Oh yes.
So, I want to say a couple of words here briefly, and we're going to play a song in the memory of Wesa Freeman, a musician who lived his life in the country of Liberia over in Africa. You've seen us share videos of him on Cigar Box Nation playing the metal gas can, oil can guitar that he built, almost completely blind, and was still able to find a way to make his own instrument to let out the music that was in him. And an amazing musician, the sounds he could get out of that instrument that he built, and with his singing voice, was an inspiration in many ways. He was a deeply religious man, very strong faith, and very sadly earlier this week he was struck by a car and killed as he was going to visit his sister there on the streets of the city in Liberia. It's very sad news. Shane Spiel had been doing a lot of work lately to help. Wesa had got him into an apartment and off the street, and it's hard to wrap one's mind around someone who had just had such a hard life and just recently starting to make improvements on it, called away in such a manner, and for his life to end like that. So everybody has their own way of explaining those sorts of things to themselves, but we want to just do a short number here, and the old hymn, Precious Lord, Take My Hand.
You have to switch.
You do?
I'm playing bass.
He's playing bass.
That's what.
You're playing this?
You want to play bass?
Yeah, alright.
Okay.
Or, well,
It's not like we're rehearsing, but that's
so
okay.
for Wesa.
Precious Lord, take my hand, lead me on, let me stand. I am tired, I am weak, I am worn. Through the storm, through the night, lead me on to the light. Take my hand, precious Lord, lead me on. In my way, draweth near, and the night lingers near, and the day is past and gone. Hear my cry, hear my call, hold my hand, lest I fall. Take my hand, precious Lord, lead me on. Precious Lord, take my hand, lead me on, let me stand. I am tired, I am weak, I am worn. Through the storm, through the night, lead me on to the light. Take my hand, precious Lord, lead me on. Take my hand,
All right. So, what do we follow that with?
I'm not really sure, man.
Put it right down.
Yeah.
So, Godspeed
Yeah.
and rest in peace to Wesa,
Yeah.
wherever he is now. All right. So, we're back, folks.
I think we have a video.
We do have a video. Did I skip it? I did. Well, here's a short video, produced, filmed, and narrated by our own Nick Lanciano, showing him putting together the new solid body 3-string electric guitar kit. And then when we come back from that, we're going to try a blues jam, I think, right?
We are.
Yeah. They were trying to teach it to me as we were getting ready. Oh, but I'm playing that.
You're playing this.
Yeah. All right, so here's the video, folks.
Do the magic, and there we go.
Push.
All right, we're going to start off here by removing the pickup ring on this pickup. You're going to want to make sure that you hold on to these springs. If you lose one, it's going to cause problems down the line. I ended up losing one and spent way too long trying to find it. I do recommend pre-threading these screws through the front. Helps keep the springs in place while you lower the pickup down onto it. Everything's designed to fit neatly together, so you shouldn't have any issues with trying to force something into anywhere. It's a pretty cool setup. So notes for after. I should have grabbed a roll of tape. Those wires, it says so in the instructions, and I didn't see it until after I had forged ahead. Yeah. But the tape will help keep the wires in line and stop them from separating the pieces. It's good to tighten down those nuts before you close the body, because you can hold on to the potentiometer or the jack and make sure that things don't rotate around too much as you're tightening them. Here's where some tape would have come in real handy. Sure does look pretty, though. These guitars serve as an excellent blank canvas. It's really recommended that you do whatever painting or finishing that you're going to do to it before you put it together. The neck on this guitar is very easy to install. Just line up the holes and screw it in place. For added strength, you could glue the neck to the body, but I wouldn't recommend gluing the front piece to the body, in case you ever need to get to the pickup. It took me way too long to put those tuners in. I was trying to be all macho and do it in front of the camera, so I put my knee up, and that didn't really work. So I ended up getting a stool. I'm a mess. Here we have our finished 3-string electric solid body guitar from Carver Banjos. All that's left now is to string her up and see how she sounds. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time. Here we have our finished 3-string electric cigar box. That's not a cigar box.
There I am. Take 2.
Lost.
Now,
For the nation.
for the name. This is a fretted 3-string solid body electric guitar kit. Just to be a contrarian, he played it with a slide. So it's a versatile little kit. It's really cool. I'm excited about him. And it's perfect. It's a perfect example. People get really worried. Newer builders get worried about using a 6-pole pickup, a 6-string pickup with 3 strings. Well, that's what we've got here. It's a 6-string pickup, 3 strings, works just fine. Nothing to worry about, folks. So, yeah.
It's really fun. And when there's bad weather, you can use it as an oar.
We're gonna need it at the end of the
A
day.
pizza pan, you know.
Yeah,
hey,
that's right.
Make a pie on that
If
thing.
you
all
play in a
sorts
bar
of good
gig and you
stuff.
get attacked, you have defense.
Never play an instrument you can't fight your way out of an alley
Exactly.
with, folks. That's, I'll tell you what.
Yeah.
This is a heavy guitar. That thing, you get that swinging and oh, be that. All right,
Yeah.
well, is that our last song we had put together?
That was
our one in the bag.
That was the one in the bag, so we've run out of the bag. The bag is empty.
The bag is empty, folks.
The bottom fell out of the bag.
The box is empty, the bag's empty. Just a short update on the shop reorg going on out in the Gitty shop. It has continued apace. It is looking good out there. We'll probably do another broadcast from out there in the next couple of weeks. It's going good. So that's working out. A couple of other announcements. Our boy, One Hand Dan, is heading to France in a couple of weeks. Gonna be playing a bunch of gigs over there and making music and taking his unique stylings and performance over there to the great country of France. And these shirts are helping to fund the way. There's a link in the script this week, Nick. If you could post the link to Dan's Facebook store, you can get in on that, get one of these awesome shirts. There's a story behind the design on this shirt. If you don't know, one of Dan's hands is basically half a hand. He calls himself One Hand Dan, and he tells the story of when he was in elementary school. All the kids were told to put their hand down on the paper and trace it to make a turkey. Well, this is the turkey that Dan made, and it's kind of become his logo. And when I saw he made these shirts, I was like, yeah, I gotta have one of them. So thank you, Dan, and good luck over there in France, spreading the word across the ocean. got a couple. Glenn was talking about Rob Roble, the master cigar box guitar builder. We've got a couple of his builds on the way. We're going to have them available on the CB Gitty website as soon as they arrive. They are in transit right now in the loving hands of the U.S. Postal Service. I hope they do them well, and we'll have them. I already mentioned that it's Ron Benway's birthday today. Happy birthday, Ron.
Don't tell him, he doesn't want to know.
Yep.
Thank you, Mr. Glenn Watt, Mr. Ben Baker.
David, thank you again for coming up. Braving the Bomba Genesis Nor'easter here in New England.
I got my paddle, kids. I'm ready to go.
Guess I'm going to play the 6 string.
We've turned into the CB Gitty CC Top Band.
Waiting for it to come around on the guitar. Come on.
This may be it, folks. I'm gonna get it out again.
I do all that, but I don't want to show off. Here we go. It's the Gitty Gang Show on Cigar Box Nation TV. It's the Gitty Gang Show on Cigar Box Nation TV. And came to you live from CB Gitty. It's Gitty Gang Show.
Gitty Gang Show.
It's Gitty Gang Show.
Gitty Gang Show.
It's Gitty Gang Show.
Gitty Gang Show.
It's Gitty Gang Show on Cigar Box Nation TV. Take us out.
Yeah, fade on the G, man. That was fun.
How was it up there?
Get a little, yeah. Woo, woo. A little thin in the air. Show say bye 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 for tonight. Tonight, tonight, tonight. It's the Gitty Gang Show saying bye 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 for tonight. Tonight, tonight, tonight. Thank you, Glenn and Ben, for a really good time.
Yeah, it's a good time.
Yeah, how about my friend Nicky there? Nicky. Thank you all. This is what happens when musicians don't know how to stop.
Well, don't worry.
Oh, yeah. He's got the power, right? Here we go, big finish.